Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here because today we're going to explore the ultimate data assembly line using Python. Seriously, if you've ever wondered how raw, boring numbers in a spreadsheet magically transform into a dynamic, interactive experience right on your screen, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack the exact curriculum and the specific tools you need to build this pipeline from scratch, looking really closely at data visualization, analysis, and web programming. So let's jump right in.
So how does raw data actually become a beautiful web app? Well, I want you to think of this as a hero's journey. Except in our story, the hero isn't a person at all. It's a single, messy piece of data. It starts off totally buried in a CSV file, unrefined, chaotic, you name it. Throughout this explainer, we're going to map out the exact steps this data has to take. Getting cleaned up, getting dressed up visually, and finally, being deployed to the world. It's honestly a fascinating transformation.
Here is a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll cover the Python data pipeline, cleaning data with Pandas, visualizing with Matplotlib, building the web app, connecting the core tasks, and finally, your next learning steps.
Let's kick things off with part 1, the Python data pipeline.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Before we can build anything, we literally have to set up our factory floor and install the right tools for the job. First up is your heavy machinery, Pandas. This is used for data manipulation and analysis. It takes the raw materials and shapes them. Next is your design department, and that's Matplotlib. This is responsible for turning those structured numbers into visual insights. And finally, you've got your delivery mechanism, frameworks like Flask, Streamlit, or Django. These web programming environments are what put your finished product directly in front of an audience.
Moving right along to part 2, cleaning data with Pandas.
Now we're entering the refinery phase of our assembly line. Pandas is pretty much the premier Python library for this heavy lifting. It lets us import data seamlessly and work with two really key structures, series and data frames. Think of a series as just a single column, like say user ages, while a data frame is the entire spreadsheet, complete with indexing. It's essentially a super-powered Excel file that runs entirely on Python code.
As you probably know, real-world data is, well, it's rarely perfect. Actually, scratch that. It's usually full of missing commas or just weird formatting. So step 1 of the cleaning process is simply bringing that messy data in by reading a CSV file. Step 2 is scrubbing out the duplicates so we don't accidentally count the same information twice and totally skew our results. And step 3 is where the real magic happens, filtering out all that noise and merging multiple data frames together to create one single master data set.
And this isn't just theory, right? In practice, you're going to write scripts that ingest these chaotic CSVs, filter out the noise based on whatever specific problem you're trying to solve. Maybe you're analyzing a huge set of global temperatures or a massive list of Netflix movies. Ultimately, you'll output a pristine Pandas data frame that is perfectly prepared for analysis. Which brings us to part 3, visualizing with Matplotlib. So we've left the refinery and officially entered the design studio. We have this beautifully clean data now. But staring at endless rows and columns of numbers, that is incredibly tough on the human brain. We need to visualize it, and Matplotlib offers an absolutely incredible variety of options. We're talking line plots, bar graphs, histograms, scatter plots, area plots, pie charts, the whole shebang. Selecting the right visual tool is just as important as writing the code itself. You wouldn't use a pie chart to show a trend over time, right? You'd use a line plot.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate goal here, a clean comparative bar chart. When you write a script to generate a visual like this, it makes comparative analysis totally effortless. You completely bypass the need to read underlying data tables, instantly highlighting the highest and lowest performers in your dataset. It's a real game changer. Of course, you aren't limited to just standard bars and lines. A donut chart is a really fantastic variation of the traditional pie chart. In a real-world scenario, you're rarely going to rely on just one single visualization anyway. You might place a bar chart right next to a donut chart to give your audience totally different angles on the exact same data set, building out a really comprehensive dashboard.
On to part 4, building the web app.
So the crucial point is, it's time to move to the storefront. Right now, you've cleaned the data, you've created stunning visualizations, but they're kind of trapped on your local machine. Your Python scripts run perfectly, but they're hidden from the world. By bringing in frameworks like Flask, Streamlit, or Django, you transform those hidden scripts into a public, fully accessible web application. Suddenly, anyone with a web browser can interact with your findings.
This is the ultimate synthesis of your skills. It's not enough to just clean the data.
or plot a cool graph. The final boss here is serving it up in a functional, integrated web interface where users can actually explore your findings themselves. You're taking every single concept we've talked about and locking it into one cohesive, interactive program.
All right, part 5, connecting the core tasks. Let's step back and see how this all builds into a unified workflow. It starts with phase 1, bringing in and cleaning the raw CSV. That flows directly into phase 2, where we structure it into a usable data frame. Phase 3 then transforms that structure into visual insights using Matplotlib. And finally, phase 4 packages all of those elements up into a deployed web application. It is just a perfect logical progression from a raw, messy file all the way to an interactive dashboard.
And finally, part 6, your next learning steps.
Mastering this pipeline of Pandas, Matplotlib, and Flask or Streamlit is an incredible achievement for sure. But the Python world is vast, and our curriculum points to 2 crucial next steps for you: API Essentials and the Pygame tool. Why APIs? Well, instead of reading a static CSV file, an API allows your web app to pull in live, real-time data. Think current weather, livestock prices, or social media feeds. And Pygame? That opens the door to creating highly interactive, heavily gamified visual interfaces, making your applications way more dynamic.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. What story will your data tell? You completely understand the blueprint now. You know how Pandas cleans the mess, how Matplotlib paints the picture, and how Flask or Streamlit builds the stage. These tools are incredibly powerful, but at the end of the day, they're just tools. The real magic happens when you find a dataset you genuinely care about and put this pipeline to work. I really hope this explainer has clarified exactly how to map out that journey. Thank you so much for joining me, and I challenge you to start building your own data assembly line today.